It's Wednesday, May 26, 2021.
Coming to you live from the economic capital of Nigeria, Lagos. This is Breakfast Central.
It's a delight to wake up with smiles as you watch your colorful breakfast show from the continent of Africa. My name is Oluchi Enobong. We're News Central TV, and this is Breakfast Central.
Good morning, Africa. I am Olisa Chukuma. It is a Wednesday morning, and we are still reeling from yesterday's event, which was Africa Day here at News Central TV. But let's set the ball rolling today with a look at the headlines. Well, 5 soldiers killed in Cameroon separatist attack. We'll tell you all about that on the program.
And in Benue State, the Benue State governor faults federal government on open grazing.
Take it to Mali, where the coup leader Assimi Goïta seizes power again.
And we're talking about curbing substandard, falsified and counterfeit drugs.
Entertainment-wise, Omale, Thames and many more set for Audiomark concerts. Right, many thanks for watching. Still Breakfast Central on News Central, and we are still in the spirit of yesterday's Africa Day celebration. You can even call it a Africa Week-long celebration if you may. I was starting this morning with a look at the morning papers, our paper review. I was starting in West Africa, Nigeria, with The Nation to see what they have for us this morning. So The Nation, Nigeria, straight we go this morning. Right, quite political here. It says presidency gets knocks for opposing open grazing ban, which is stands by the Southwest Southern governors last week. Says Akarodulu stands shocking, provocative. Ortom, Okowa, Clark fault federal government. Also on the front page there, banks insist states must repay loans as MPC retains interest rate at 11.5%. And at the top there, NMPC Bonga packs to raise $700 million in cash. More on that on the front page of The Nation in Nigeria.
All right, looking at The Nation, we need to move on from The Nation now to the Daily Nation. We're talking about Kenya this morning. Now, looking at the Kenya paper, the Daily Nation, Uhuru 2022 magic bullets. Wow, what does this mean? You need to go into the pages of the Daily Nation. And the picture
says quite a lot.
Yes, and you can see him, you know, with the gesture, his action.
Like he's trying to fire a rifle.
With a magic bullet? Right. More details in the Daily Nation this morning. At the top left end of the paper, you have puzzle of millions wired to Somalia by Bashir. That's what he says in the paper. President's basket of goodies for Ralliers Base. More information on that in the Daily Nation for you to read from Kenya this morning.
All right, from the Daily Nation in Kenya, we can also go to Zimbabwe. That's the Daily News, and they've got quite an interesting one for us this morning on the Daily News in Zimbabwe. That's what we're moving next to, and this is quite a cheeky one. It says, ED was appointed, that's Emerson Mnangagwa, the president, that's his nickname. ED was anointed by spirit mediums, traditional leaders say, as Nahanda statue is unveiled. Now, the story says that in a surprising turn of events yesterday, as the unveiling of in Harare of a statue, which is the Mbuya Chawe, which is the spirit medium in the country. So the traditional leaders said that the president, Emerson Mnangagwa, had been anointed by Zimbabwe's spirit mediums to lead the country. Wow. You don't want to argue with the gods, as they say. All right, also at the top, Sasha revels in Mbuya and the Nahanda performance. All about that one yesterday done in Zimbabwe, Harare. More on that on the front page of the Daily Nation. And from there, we'll be moving straight, still in the southern part of Africa. Yes, the nation in Malawi.
All right, looking at the Malawi paper this morning, we have the president, Chakwera, back in parliament today. So it says in the paper this morning. You need to go to page 2 of The Nation from Malawi to get more information on that. Now, Mera faulted on fuel deals. Wow, you have more information on this. You can see the picture of the tankers at the petrol stations there. It says Parliamentary Committee wants Regulators Board fired it means they need to leave their positions at this point in time. But is that the way forward? You need to go to the front page of the Nation newspaper for more information.
All right, so there you have it for the papers this morning. Breakfast Central, yes, May 26, 2021. It's a Wednesday. Let's move away from reviewing the papers and head straight for our top stories. Right then, we told you about this story on Monday about Mount Nyiragongo in the eastern DRC, that's Democratic Republic of Congo, which on Saturday flattened over 500 houses and about 100 missing children so far, so good, even counting more. Well, we're joined back again on Breakfast Central, yes, by analysts and yes, a DR Congo citizen based in Washington, D.C., Intal Alamasi. Intal, good morning to you. Welcome back to the program. So far, so good. What's the latest about the missing children from Saturday's lava, eruption from the Mount Nyiragongo, volcano?
Good morning. At this particular point, there's no new news about the children who have gone missing. Actually, what that shows is what I would call the lack of planning that has been seen all along from the part of the government. I think those who have been following this situation have seen that it's the volcanologic center or observatory that has been pointed and said that they were disorganized. But as we look into it more, we find that actually the problem seems to be a little bit deeper. It's the government that has been lacking in terms of planning. True, at this particular point, most of what they are dealing with are earthquakes. They are having yesterday and the day before it was like 15 minutes intervals. Now they are at 10-minute intervals. You can say that the population is getting antsy because basically the government doesn't seem to have had an evacuation plan in place, you seem to have any structures that will be following up, and that's why you don't hear about those children at this point. I should say that the epicenters of the earthquakes seem to be from the airport in Goma to Gisenyi in Rwanda, and that's where you're finding more of those.
All right, now looking at the situation of things, I mean, Mount Nyiragongo's volcanic eruption happened in a region, a lakeside region that is home to about 2 million people. Now we have about over 500 homes that have been destroyed, and we have people who have been displaced. Now looking at the death situation, about 15 people have been confirmed dead. 9 were from the residents in the vicinity. What really is the government trying to do to resuscitate the economic activity or even the properties that have been lost by the people living in that vicinity?
At this point, from what I've been able to glean from the people in Goma and some news, first I have to say there's this confusion that is being created by what we are getting from the social media. Sometimes, even people in Goma don't know what to believe as to what is there actually. From the people that I talked to, they have not confirmed the number of 500 houses that have been destroyed. However, what is clear is that you can see cracks almost everywhere in the city. People are not sleeping in their houses. People are sleeping outside because of those tremors. Now I've seen that the government has allowed people to leave Goma. Many are going towards Sake, which is towards the west, and others taking the boats to go to Bukavu. So that's really what is it. But in terms of what the government is supposed to be doing to help the people, all you're hearing at this point is words, but no action, so to speak.
All right, Ntal, we know that this is the first eruption in over a decade in Goma for that volcanic eruption. But going forward, do you see any perhaps emergency warning signs or services to really help these people of Goma in case we can have this once again in the future?
To help the people, I think it will be just like everywhere else in the DRC. I don't think that the government has any ways or any means really of coming to the help of the people. Now they are talking about there's going to be a fund that's going to be created in order, to go and help. But at this point, nobody is being helped. Now, what I know for sure is that the former governor of North Kivu, who was in Goma and who now is the Minister of Industrialization, I believe, has said that the observatory people have been paid. Finally, they were 3 months behind not being paid. That's why they were not working. We know that since last year, they had, and I think in September, they had written a letter to the government saying that they did not have any internet connections, so they were not doing their job very well. And that, to me, would be the place where I think the government is looking to start helping, because as everybody knows, people did not even have any advance warning about what is happening here.
As I say, early warnings is the key with alarm systems in such a place. Well, thank you very much once again for joining us on the Breakfast program, Intal Ali Massi.
Thank you.
All right, more top stories right here on Breakfast Central. Right, we go to West Africa. Now, Mali's president and prime minister have been ousted by the officers who led last year's coup and became vice president of an interim government. Now, Colonel Alice Assimi Goita says President Mba Ndo and PM Mokta Owane failed in their duties and were seeking to sabotage the country's transition.
Now, Colonel Goita has ignored pleas from the UN chief, the African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, that is ECOWAS, the EU and the US, that the president and prime minister be released without any preconditions. Now, the two men have been held at a military camp outside the capital, Bamako, since they were arrested on Monday evening.
They were arrested hours after a government reshuffle which saw 2 senior army officers replaced. Now, meanwhile, Colonel Goita says elections will still go ahead next year as planned. All right, then. This time we go straight to Cameroon, where 5 Cameroonian soldiers have been killed by separatist fighters during an attack overnight onto Tuesday into the country's restive English-speaking region of Northwest. Now, the separatist fighters ambushed and attacked a military outpost in Lasin village of Noni subdivision of the region.
Now, in a video released on social media, separatist fighters who call themselves Marine Force of Ambalan claimed responsibility for the attack and warned of more attacks in the future. Now, government forces have been clashing with separatist fighters since 2017 in Cameroon's 2 English-speaking regions of Northwest and Southwest.
Right, so more top stories right here, this time in Nigeria, in the central northern area, where the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, says the federal government's insistence on open grazing suggests it has a hidden agenda. Now, the presidency had on Monday faulted the recent resolutions of the southern governors, including the ban on open grazing in the entire southern part of the country.
Now, a statement signed by the president's spokesman, Garba Shehu, said that the governor's resolution failed to provide any solution to the lingering crisis between farmers and herders in the country. But the Benue State governor, in a statement signed by spokesman Trevor Akase, said that the insistence on open grazing reserves was curious. Now, the governor also faulted the federal government's plan to commence rehabilitation work on grazing reserves in the country next month.
All right, so that is one of the big top stories in Nigeria right now. Benue State, clearly they call it it's part of the Middle Belt state region. We've seen attacks quite recently, I think over the weekend, in that place. The governor has been quite outspoken about what's been going on, but this time it's gone into a political tit for tat in terms of comments, because the president has come out to clearly falter the resolution by the governor saying they want to ban open grazing when it comes to southern parts of Nigeria.
But people right now are looking for solution, because the more the tic-tac or the back and forth tete-a-tete goes on, the people are suffering based on the violence that is happening across these regions in Nigeria. All
right, so the big question is, will there be another, comments from Governor Ortom? Because the presidency has been quite clear. Now, the statement released by Garba Shehu, his media spokesman, was very clear that it looks like the governors are perhaps breaching some parts of the constitution in terms of where people can trade and do business in any part of Nigeria, no matter where they are from, ethnicity, state of origin, or religion. So maybe on that point, just trying to play perhaps the devil advocates here, the government and the federal government do have a point.
Yes, they do. But at the end of the day, if these leaders are there for the people and they are there in the interest of the people, then we need solution at this point in time that will move the country forward.
All right, still in Nigeria, this time we're going to the southern eastern part of Enugu State, the government has confirmed that 4 of their operatives were killed during a gun attack at Iwolo Police Division of the state. Now, the police spokesperson in the state, that's ASP Daniel Ndukwe, now joins us via phone for an insight into the development. Good morning, welcome, ASP Daniel Ndukwe. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Central.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good morning. All right, so tell us exactly what happened there at Iwolo Police Division, because we're hearing that 4 police operatives were killed in that incident.
Yeah, that was yesterday in the 2020. About 0400 hours, that is 4 a.m. yesterday morning, that some hoodlums in the numbers passed the station, opened fire on the operatives on duty. The operatives actually resisted them, and in the ensuing gun duel, most of the hoodlums left the scene with bullet injuries. But unfortunately, 4 of our men paid the ultimate price as they sustained severe gunshot injuries, but then later taken to the hospital where they were confirmed. And also the same morning, very early, the Commissioner of Police, as duty so demands, had to lead a team of not just his management team members, but also commanders of various operational and tactical units in the command to that very thing, to have on the spot assessment of what may have happened. After which, he immediately ordered that investigation that had already been launched even before he went there, that it be intensified with a view to ensuring that whoever the perpetrators who are yet to be identified are, that they are fished out and they are made to face the full wrath of the law. He also commiserated with families and loved ones and friends of the officers who paid the ultimate price while in the line of duty. It is one of those things we face. The assurance is that by God's grace we are making headway, and in the end, we are sure by God's grace to speak.
All right, ASP Daniel, so what you're telling us, it means that the police are still tracing and tracking, the source of the attack. But what do you think really prompted this attack, on the police division there and the killing of these officers? Why?
That is part of what the investigation will reveal, but we still don't know exactly why. subject to the investigation that will unravel all the mystery behind that. But we wouldn't know why anybody will wake up, or people have been waking up and think the best thing to do is attack police station, attack policemen. Same policemen you are attacking, most of them are your brothers, if not all. The station you pull down, attack, and possibly burn was not even done by the policeman's money. These are costs. The same police station was 100% done by the community. So why would you want to pull it down? And why would you want to kill a policeman who eventually is your brother somewhere, somehow, who is a family man like you are, who has never dependents too? So it's an unfortunate situation. But I strongly believe, however trying to move that, ongoing investigation by God's grace will unravel the mystery behind that. Whoever the assailants are, something will be fished out and brought to book.
All right. Now, we know the investigation is ongoing. We also know that the Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Aliyu, has visited the station for an on-the-spot assessment. Now, what is the next step for the command now?
The next has always been further intensifying on the strategy in place. We have the youth strategy already on that. Mind you, also have the repression responsive operatives who have been duly deployed. His Highness believes that occurrence of this will be possible. When they ever happen, it actually believe me, it may not happen. The rest assured that whoever the assailants are, the sister, because the operation responsive, which one is to ensure the stabilization of security order in the state, is already ongoing. And as well, whoever thinks that's the best way to go, I'm very sure the operation will also take care of it. So the strategy is already in place, even as flagged up by the Inspector General of Police, acting IGP Usman Baba Kali, and the one that have already been in place by the Commissioner of Police, all these put together. And all the commanders, the previous personnel of the command have all been placed already. And the rest assured, God willing, we will begin to bring this whole thing to instance.
ASP Daniel Undukwe, before we let you go, and I really need to ask you this. It's not the first time we're seeing a police station, especially in the eastern part of Nigeria, being attacked, with this latest one in Enugu. From your standpoint, you know, as the PPRO of police out there, do you feel that the police are clearly under a patterned attack right now? Police, you know, stations and police officer personnel.
I didn't get that clear, sorry.
From your standpoint, for what we're seeing, it's not the first time we've seen attacks on police station and police personnel. So, as the PPRO out there in Enugu, are you saying that police are now under threat of being attacked? Are the police, you know, a target practice right now for hoodlums?
It's very interesting. You and I know that attacks of this nature could have been coming, but we only what I call, and generally, not just for the police. Because if the more you are attacking the police, by extension, you're also attacking the entire society and community. Right? Because the attack you're planning to carry out on the police, somewhere, somehow, it might also involve some other person. Innocent citizens who might be on their way to their normal business. You have the situation in Imo State, where bullet left where there was exchange of conduct. I went straight to somebody's house and killed the person. Is that what we should be doing? So generally, it's not just about the police. If you attack the police, you attack the society. Attack the next person there. Because police is meant, a critical agency of government that is meant to keep the society in peace and ensure that people go about doing what they have to do in the most peaceful manner without fear of any form. So it's not just an attack on the police, it's an attack on every one of us. And we must all rise up against this kind of thing.
All right. Thank you very much, ASP Daniel Undukwe, for joining us right here this morning on Breakfast Central.
All right.
Thank you, brother. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you so much. All right. Up next, let's take you to our correspondents in other parts of Africa.
Time now for Africa Report. Now we hear that there is another bullying case in South Africa, where we have Ene Akombo ready to bring us the latest. How are you doing, Ene? Good morning. And is it really cold out there in Johannesburg?
Good morning. I am very well. Thank you so much for asking. And it's cold. Yes. So the Western Cape Education Department is talking. Now, this is after the case of Lufuna Mavunga, the young girl who took her own life after the video of her being assaulted by another student went viral. Last week, there was a video of a grade 8 male student who was bullying and set a girl's hair on fire at Belgravia High School in Cape Town. The incident was filmed by a classmate while the teacher was out of the classroom, apparently in between classes, waiting for the next teacher. This 14-second video taken by a learner sitting behind the victim starts with the boy pouring water over the girl's hair. Classmates are heard laughing and even waving for the camera. And then he gets a lighter, laughs, and sets the girl's ponytail on fire, with other learners laughing still, while he quickly douses the flame with his hands. The WECD says they are aware of the incident, and the departmental spokesperson Millicent Mayton said that the learner has been suspended as a precautionary measure pending a disciplinary hearing. The school provided counseling and therapeutic support to the victim, with the Representative Council of Learners embarking on an anti-bullying campaign at the school. According to the victim's aunt, the young girl says she doesn't want to return to school, even though she has been taken to another class as a result of the unpleasant situation. The family says, sadly, this is not the first time the young student has been bullied. This begs the question, has bullying always been in schools with no one talking about it, but we're just now paying attention because videos are made of the act and it goes viral? Well, that's it from me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
All right, thank you very much, Ena Kombo, our correspondent in South Africa. They're really disturbing one. And yes, some questions really need to be asked about bullying in school. Is it a tradition, mainstay, or do we put it in the bud right and for all? Right then, thank you very much. Just still, this is Breakfast Central. Coming up next on the program. Well, Lagos to host the African Athletics Championships. We'll tell you how.
The world of entertainment, Omale, Thames and more set for Audiomack concert.
And updates on the latest from COVID-19.
Welcome to Breakfast Central. Now, the impact COVID-19 has had on the world and in Africa still remains a huge concern for leaders and the economy. Now, from the news desk, we have Israel Ifiribu here to give us the latest on COVID-19 updates. Good morning, Israel.
Good morning, Olisa. Good morning, all of you as well. Well, I'm here, right here to give you the latest on the pandemic on the African continent. Let's go straight now to Kenya. The country has reiterated calls for a resolution on vaccine equity in a world fight against COVID-19. Health Minister Mutahi Kagwe made the call while speaking during the 74th World Health Assembly. Now, Kagwe said the pandemic would only be defeated if nations work together. The minister called out nations that had defied the WHO's call to stop vaccinating their youth, while elderly persons and those at high risk in other countries had not received the life-saving jabs. Kenya, with a population of more than 52 million, has only managed to vaccinate about 954,000 people so far. Now, since its mass inoculation drive was launched, that was in early March. Uganda's Ministry of Health says the East African country has registered 155 new cases of COVID-19. It brings the total number of infections in the country to 44,000. Now, out of the 2,428 samples tested on Sunday, 119 of them in the capital, Kampala, turned out to be positive for the novel coronavirus. A total of 43,401 recoveries and 358 deaths have been registered since the outbreak was declared in the country. That was in March of last year. Over 527,000 people have been vaccinated against COVID-19, with 2,736 of them receiving their second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine, according to the ministry. Okay, so according to the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases on the continent has reached, wait for it, 3.8 million. The death toll from the pandemic stands at over 111,000, with over 3.4 million recoveries. The continent has so far carried out 35.8 million tests. Well, those are some of the latest updates on the COVID-19 here on the African continent. It's back to you, Lisa, and Ology.
All right, thank you very much, Israel, for the latest when it comes to COVID-19. But let's move forward right here now. Substandard and falsified medicines have become a global problem that presents enormous public health challenges to national medicines regulatory authorities in both developed and developing countries, as it were. Now, some unpatriotic businessmen and women involved in the illegal manufacture, importation, distribution, and substandard and falsified medicines target medicines with high volume of use for the treatment of diseases of public health interest. Now, we have joining us in the studio a pharmacist, Obi Egbonye, who is a licensed pharmacist and the founder of Near Expiry Limited. Quite a name for one. Good morning, Obi. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. Okay.
Right, fake and falsified counterfeit drugs seems to be a really big problem in Africa. Yes, in the world, but in terms of Africa, how deep does it really go?
Okay, thank you so much once again. I think there's another word bigger than deep. We'll use that. It has gone so deep, and for the purpose of this discussion, I think it would be nice to separate. Although it's being used interchangeably, it would be nice to separate substandard and counterfeit drugs, which I think is where you put the falsified medicines.
So substandard and counterfeit. But it's still, because it's a lucrative industry, we tend to match them up together.
Yeah, that's why I say that. It's been used interchangeably, but the truth is that if you need to grade it, you will see that the substandard one will look at the motive. It's actually not intentional. It could be from the manufacturing process. That's why we call it out of specification products. So you have a specification, you want this to meet this particular specification, but at the end of the production, when the testing is done, it's below standard. So that's substandard. Now there's the part that I get so interested and I get worried about. That's the counterfeit or the falsified.
Okay.
Now you look at the intention is deliberate, WHO says is deliberate and intentional. So there's a decision to go out there and bring out something that is not what it is. So that's where, for me, the big issue is, although the other part of it is still contributory, particularly in this developing economy. Yeah.
All right, and it tends to be that some of these counterfeited, intentionally counterfeited drugs, they target, anti-malarial and bacterial drugs, which is like the popular market, which we use every day for treatment of malaria and bacteria, very common in Africa. Yeah. Why is that?
Okay, yeah. So I used to work with GSK.
Okay.
That's Glaxo.
That's a big, pharmaceutical company.
Pharmaceutical company, multinational company. And the truth is, I wouldn't go counterfeiting something that is not actually moving.
Oh.
So the first thing they look at is, this drug is a fast line.
It is a market.
Yeah, it is a market. So that's the drug I need to counterfeit. That's the drug that I need to do a look-alike, even though the content is not what it is, but I won't go for a product that is not, it's not selling. So I do a counterfeit for that, then it's as good as wasting money. So they go for products that are, by default, fast selling.
All right, and that's where we come into your organization, which is Near Expiry Limited. Now, if you're saying that they're going for the fast-moving drugs on the market, which means we then have more of these fast-moving drugs, fake or original, at the same time in the market, which means there is more work for the people like NAFDAC and the authorities. So how have you been relating with these authorities in terms of, fighting this, counterfeit drugs on the market?
Okay, so when I talked about counterfeit drugs, that's a part we come in as near expiry. By the way, we are just an online sales platform, offline too. However, we are particularly interested in end of shelf life of a product, so close to expiry products.
Okay.
Now, this is what normally happens. Like I said, when a product is produced, you get to pass through the stages and it's getting to expire. Now, at that point, the challenge we have, NAFDAC is doing their bit, but the challenge we have is that when it gets to this point of expiry, the buyer, the seller or the owner gets agitated. And there are no portals, there are no means, there are no ways to sell them off before they expire.
Okay.
So this is where we come in to say, oh, you don't have to worry. We've made ourselves a one-stop shop for anything short date. So once it's getting to that...
And this short date is actually still legal and approved for consumption in the market?
Oh, that's one of the things we try to do.
Okay.
Because it's been a battle against ignorance, because a lot of people, and I keep telling people, we're in a country where 7 out of 10 people go to bed without food. And at the same time, you'll be amazed that what you see getting wasted, you don't see it in any other country. So while we are hungry, we are throwing away a lot of things. And these are things that are just best before dates.
All right. Okay.
And indeed, that's another thing that when we have time, we'll look at it again. There's a difference between best before date, expiry date, use by date.
All right, quite an education and enlightenment this morning. Thank you very much, Obi Egbonyo, pharmacist and founder of the organization Near Expiry Limited. Well, still Breakfast Central on News Central. Up next is Entertainment Update with Sam Dandy. Right, Hometown Heroes Nigeria. That's the concert powered by Audiomack. Has been amazing, performances from Nigeria's top music stars, and we also hear that many more performances are lined up. Now, Sam Dandy has the latest for us. Good morning, Sam. What's going on?
The truth is, we've seen, because of COVID, we've seen, from virtual concerts to virtual awards, and now, virtual festivals are happening. So some of Nigeria's leading artists, right, have been scheduled to perform in Audiomack's 3-day virtual concert. Like you said, it's called Hometown Heroes Nigeria. Now, the streaming platform has also put together the series to celebrate and showcase the best talents across the region. And like I said, COVID is trying to hurt us, but we bounce back. Well, let me move to South Africa, where we have interesting news. Well, a South African-produced street dance drama is set to hit Netflix on June 24th. Now, titled Jiva, it's a highly anticipated African original directed by Scotland L. Smith, Dube, as long as Bosseswe. Now, if you recall, the show's teaser first premiered in 2020 in April, to be precise, and it was delayed because of speculations of COVID, and I can understand how COVID has affected lots of things. So now, according to Netflix, the show will feature a wide range of dance styles from Mzansi. Of course, that's an ode to the beauty of South Africans' dance culture, as well as the country's fashion and urban life. Now, if you know South African music, you know that, of course, their dances are beautiful to watch. Now, what we know, of course, is the story follows an ambitious and frustrated young dancer called Umlinzi, right, who wants to ditch her dead-end job and get into a spotlight. Now, in her journey, of course, she forms a dance group called Trolleys, made up of 4 different but talented women. That's a typical dance plot. Meet people, and then you form a crew, and then, you do great. That's all entertainment.
All right, thank you very much, Sam Dandy. Don't worry, you'll form a dance crew with myself and Audrey quite soon. Thank you very much, Sam.
Of course, anytime.
All right, still Breakfast Central, still to come on the program.
In the world of sports, Lagos to host African Athletics Championship. More on that.
Right then, time down for some sports now. Big news, Lagos. Yes, Lagos, Nigeria to host the 21st African Athletics Championship from June 23rd to 27th this year, 2021. Now, the African Athletics Championship was originally scheduled to take place in Algiers, Algeria, but was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic last year and had other, postponements subsequently. But in a statement released by the Confederation of African Athletics, its president, Hamed Kalkaba Malboun, said that the delayed championships will now take place, in his own words, in the mega city of Lagos at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, with auxiliary support to be provided by the National Stadium, Surulere, and the Yaba College of Technology. Now, the statement from the CAA also said that more comprehensive details regarding the successful hosting of Lagos athletics will be made public in the coming days. Well, we're joined now by News Central's very own Udoka Njoku. Udoka, good morning. This is big news.
Yeah, good morning, Olisa. And of course, this will be the third time Nigeria will be hosting this event. And you know, it's solely because some of these athletes have not still qualified for the Olympics. So they will use tournaments like this, events like this, to see how they can meet the Olympic qualification time and also make it to Tokyo, Japan, where the Olympics will be taking place. So it's a good one for Nigeria, good one for Lagos. Teslim Balogun Stadium, yet again, hosting a major competition. And for Yaba College of Technology, I went there in recent times, and yeah, they're doing a bit of work on the sports arena. So I'm sure before June, when the African Championships will go down, I'm sure their sports center will be ready for the events.
Wow, no time to wait. 23rd of June. Wow, it's a race for hosting and facilities. Yeah. All right, Udoka, let's talk about the big one for tonight. Is it Villarreal versus Manchester United, or Manchester United versus Villarreal?
Villarreal versus Manchester United. And Nigeria versus Ivory Coast. Yes, that's our chief, Samuel Chukwueze for Villarreal, taking on Eric Bailly of Manchester United. A cracker to look forward to, and I'm sure to be a good one. Most of the fans, the Man United fans, are actually rooting for Shola Shoretire, who plays for Manchester United, because he is a Nigerian and an African as well. And some other in Yoruba, they say is Ote. So the ones that don't support Manchester United are saying Villarreal, and Chukwueze will get to win this one over Manchester United. And hey, there's this myth about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He happens to be celebrating, he always celebrates something on the 26th of May every year. So let's see if it will be a good one or a bad one for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer later today. But of course, for Villarreal, with the man who loves to say good evening, talking about the manager right there, Unai Emery, they call him Mr. Europa League, so he just might do the magic again against United. So just relax. There will be a cracker later tonight.
So big final to expect tonight. Man United versus Villarreal. Hopefully Samuel Chukwueze is fit to play, and we see the other African.
Yeah, he's back in training actually.
Okay, Eric Bailly playing for United. Well, Udoka, we know that it continues today, BAL, but it's quarterfinals, right? Zamalek versus FAP of Cameroon.
Yeah, Zamalek were they topped their group after winning 3 games in a row. So fantastic performance from the guys right there, and they are hoping to go all the way to the finals of this one against FAP, Forces Arms, the Police. I'm sure Zamalek would tear them apart. And just so you know, the Forces are from the Cameroonian club, but Zamalek have been very, very fantastic, not just in the BAL now, in other basketball events that I've seen them participate in. They've shown professionalism through and through, so I think nothing will stop them against their opponents later today in the quarterfinals.
All right, so that's a fixture to catch up later, and we'll catch you, Udoka, later for In the Game. You tell us all about the preps for Europa League final between United and Villarreal.
Thank you very much, Elisa.
All right, now before we go, you're still watching Breakfast Central, but let's tell you that we have some beautiful programs coming up later today on News Central.
Catch Udoka at 10:30 a.m. In the Game, everything about sports.
0 to lunch, 12:30 p.m. West African time.
And Sam Dandy and the entertainment team will be with you at 5:30 p.m. for E Central. Right then, wow, it's been quite an interesting Wednesday morning, 26th May 2021. Mark the dates. They say it's a special date in terms of Manchester United.
Something happened. I'm looking forward to it. All right, on behalf of the production crew, myself and Elisa, that's Odicha and Elisa, wish you a very lovely day. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
At the mall.